Stingin'.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back.
Why does my hat feel so crooked? Oh, it's casting a shadow.
There, those pesky shadows.
Ooh.
Now I moved you right before we started, and I moved. There you go.
Oh, wrong way.
Yep, there you go.
Here, I'll get a little. All right, hi, everybody.
Hello.
Here we are again, rearranging things, trying new setups always.
Yep.
But we're back. Yeah. So last time on the stream, we finished up that thing.
Or that was the last time.
Or last time. Yeah, last
time was.
Right.
What did we make last time?
Something weird. So we're in this post time of that stream.
Big project.
Yeah, and ready to kind of dip into little things here and there. And so, in the interest of not going forever, I thought we'd maybe try and tackle another straight up music stream. And I have some interesting, to me at least, things to sort of poke around at. Have some new tools, new to me, at least. I mean, not, you all probably saw this on the last stream. I have a new computer with a new processor architecture that has really thrown a wrench into my workflow a little bit. But Ableton just pushed a new update that makes it native and compatible yesterday. So I just installed it.
Huh. So it was actually the compatibility thing for Ableton, huh? That was what you were waiting for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, so last week on the stream, I was running a beta version of it. And I was having some great performance. Yeah, so I'm running now the stable 11.1, their first big point release since they dropped 11. So the big change is that it's now native for these new Macs, which means that now all of my non-native plugins don't work. So this is the problem with changing CPU architectures. It hasn't happened in the PC world for a long time, like the change from kind of like the change to I don't even know. Did it like
sort of like this 10 to 11 jump has sort of, there's some like processor requirements.
Yeah, but this is like code has to be rewritten from scratch to run differently on the because the whole architecture of the processor is different. This is the second transition like this that has happened on Macs that I've been aware of. Like they used to have these Power PC processors. I don't remember who made those.
Power PC.
Yeah, so they like those old towers that we have upstairs.
Oh.
They're pre-Intel even. Yeah. And then they adopted Intel for a long time, and they just ditched Intel a couple years ago. So now the blah blah blah. People are rewriting code to run it, and now it's running. So I've got Ableton 11.1 pulled up over here, and it's working really well. I'm super stoked about the low CPU impact. I have it running right now, and we're gonna see if I can get through the whole stream with a buffer size of 64 samples. I can go down to 32, maybe even. Let's try it. And let's just see what happens. So normally, I've never had a computer that could do this before, even for the most basic of tasks. So I'm curious to see whether this thing can handle anything at this. 32 milliseconds buffer size basically means that the computer has 32 milliseconds to process everything I asked it to process before it spits it back out again. That's a lot of very fast computations that need to occur. And so you'll see the CPU meter up here, which in Ableton, you can't really see my cursor very well, can you? So this guy,
we're trying a different way of capturing the
screen. I'm actually sending my screen instead of over HDMI like we usually do. I am sending it over Ethernet.
Yeah.
Using NDI.
Yeah.
And we're still running audio out of an audio interface so I can do real-time monitoring.
Yeah.
We haven't quite figured out the networked audio element of this yet.
This is nice because then I don't have to for those of you who have watched really closely, I've had to switch to the full ATEM, so this shot, and then switch the input on the ATEM then to actually allow it to.
Is that going to be your thumbnail?
It's probably going to
pick
that
face that I just made.
But now, like I was doing before, I could do it with the computer in here and show Blender stuff and have both of us up at the same time. But I couldn't do it with Cory's. So this was what I like. I like being able to see both of us in the little, and shrinking this down. And kind of, little stylized thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to be able to see us both when we're talking. So
totally. Yeah. So I thought what I do. I had a couple little tasks that I wanted to do. I started like setting things up. So this is a new version of Ableton and I have a new computer. So like I'm re-establishing a bunch of my like default settings that I really like. I was just like going through and changing, setting up my default preset with my preferred plugins. You know, the Ableton default setting has a Ableton Reverb and an Ableton delay device, and I like to go in and drop in Soundtoys little plate as this is my go-to reverb. I could just use this probably and be fine. It's so simple. And then I like Ableton's echo effect. Probably if I had like a real like roll into space echo emulation, I'd like that better. But this thing's great, so I'm happy. So anyways, the one thing that I hadn't gotten around to quite finishing yet, I started doing it and I realized I actually failed to do it correctly, was editing the default preset of my EQ8. So I'm not gonna dwell on this and like show you all how to do default every preset to the way that I like them. But I just like to have these things like other EQs let you like double click and like create a band wherever you are, which is really convenient. Like my isotope EQs function that way. But the Ableton one, like you turn these on and the bands are where they are. So my goal is to have them be in some kind of logical order. Because like right now I'm gonna turn on 4. 4 is all the way over there and then 5's over here. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And then I sort of started messing with these. I have these like, I like to keep like a high and low cut and high and low shelves on either end because I reach for those tools really regularly. And then I keep like 3 parametric like bands, like bell curves in the middle. Oh, that's funny. It'll show up when I make it big, huh? But now you're seeing my phantom cursor in the wrong place, and also that giant one. Funny. Okay.
Weird.
Yeah. So like I'm just gonna go quick. So I've enabled all the bands, and I'm gonna go through and set these to some useful frequencies. I like my low cut around 16K. That's where MP3s start to cut stuff off. That seems pretty musical. And then my high shelf around 5. This like, and then like I like a bell curve around 3. Oh yeah, 4 is just hiding out there, you know, like at the same frequency as 7. So I'm gonna bring you down. So where do I want to put these guys? I usually like something at 1K because 1K is an area I address a lot. So then we're gonna get a bell at 3 and another bell at, just to space things somewhat evenly. Let's see, maybe we want 5 or 6. Yeah, like 600. Let's do 500. Just so that's nice and like that seems like it's sensible. So now when I flip one of these bands on, like they're sort of like, and I sort of know what each one is. You know, like if I know I want to address my lows, I have my like shelving and cut filters here to address those. I got my 2 bands of low mids here, and like 2 bands of upper mids, and then like dealing with my highs. That's it. And then so to make this the default, I will also want to go through and turn all these off because I don't want them on. I don't like any bands on by default. I just want to turn on the ones I want. Technically save some CPU. Oh yeah, and then oversampling, I leave it turned on. My old computer could handle it, so there don't see any reason this one can't. So then you right click and just say save as default preset, overwrite it, and then now every time you load an EQ8, it'll load up with the settings that you have. So there's a few plugins that I think is really great to do this with. But any of them that you find yourself like doing the same kinds of things with over and over and over again, you know, you might as well. Like for example, like Echo comes in with a default dry wet percentage of 70, which it doesn't actually seem very helpful to me in any situation. Like I either want it at 0 and dial it into taste, or I want it at 100, and I'm doing it in parallel. And that's way more like I'm more often doing it in parallel. And so I just went and turned the settings so the dry wet was set to 100%. Because that's what I'm doing with it most of the time. I could probably even go further here if I'm like really editing my default preset and tweak the filter here. Like I might prefer, you know, I'll probably filter out more lows. I don't like echoing sub bass. Not usually very helpful. But yeah, anyways, default presets, good thing to mess around with. Let's all tweak this. Save as default preset. Boom. Cool. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about that. There's a bunch of things that are new in this version of Ableton, and I kind of wanted to like poke around at them real quick before I started making a bunch of noise. But I'm gonna try and also incorporate some noise making here. So I've had students asking me how to make hyperpop music. I almost hate saying this word because it feels like such a buzzword. And I'm finding that that word does not mean to them what it means to me either, so it's like not even a very specific buzzword. Genres, I mean, we were just talking about like we were listening to like a dubstep song earlier, and we're talking about how like that word's changed its meaning a ton over the years. You know, when people first started making dubstep music, it doesn't sound anything like what people were making that was called dubstep like 10 years later. Huh. And now here we are, almost another. Man, that genre's been around a long time. That's like 2006 era music. You know,
that was the stuff when I was in high school.
Oh, dude, but like the OG sound, the real OG sound, like the London, like UK underground sound it's not the same at all. Like, and
totally
you might not even recognize it. Like probably most people wouldn't recognize it as being dubstep.
Yeah, I kind of like what I think of that like 2010 dubstep.
Yes, yeah, like the post Skrillex.
Yeah, Skrillex. Yeah,
the pejorative term is bro step to differentiate it from the OG.
I remember.
dubstep.
I mean, Skrillex was definitely popular. I feel like that's some of the first stuff that I ever heard that was in that sort of similar genre.
Yeah. So there's a whole scene and a whole world for years before he started putting out tracks.
Right.
That's like, I'll play you some. If you're curious, since I'm talking about this stuff, Koki and Mala and the Digital Mystics are like probably what you should listen to. In particular, I am incredibly fond of a track by Koki. I believe it's Koki called Spongebob. Dare I play a few seconds of it?
No. You can
No,
try.
just look it up. That's going to be too much of a pain. But yeah, look up. We'll bump it after we're done with this stream. But look that track up. Look up SpongeBob. I'm pretty sure it's Koki.
I think fair use is like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just get a little snippet.
Oh yeah, here. Then I'm gonna do it because
I think that is. I don't know.
All right, let's throw caution to the wind here. I don't think it's on Spotify anymore.
You can try it. If I gotta take it out, then.
All right, I just want you to hear a couple seconds of this. This is the real deal. Nine seconds. And a break. But then you, like, anyway, so like.
Yeah, get in there. Huh. Yeah.
And there's no drops.
Oh, okay, so that's the thing.
No drops.
That's the big.
That's the big difference. That is
Yeah.
the big difference. Around 2010, right? The drop became a thing. Yeah. So this is pre-drop stuff.
Pre-drop era.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's these constant grooves, and it's absolutely it's a blend of dub and tech step, or like two-step garage. I guess really is not tech step. I'm sorry, two-step garage. Tech step. Two-step garage.
Somebody's going to roast techno. You in the comments.
Yeah, thank goodness that is not going to happen right now. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Genre names change a lot over time. So now when people talk about hyperpop, they're talking about just like really blown out SoundCloud trap. You know, it's like what I would have called SoundCloud like rap stuff like 8 years ago or something. I don't know. It's interesting. Whatever. So I'm going to poke around and look at some new features of Ableton and make some of those noises, and maybe we'll end up with something that sounds like something. The first thing that I found really different that kind of freaked me out was the audio clip view has changed a lot. They've been messing with this a ton. So I'm going to find myself a loop of something. Let's just find a loop of piano.
I like that.
Well, that's not piano, but I like that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's already
sneak preview.
Yeah. Didn't take much.
So this thing's like super wonky right now. Let's make this into like a. Let's go like. Warp it. Yeah. So here, check this out, y'all. So this is what's new. I'm ready to like turn this into something useful. Apparently, whoa, a lot of new windows popping up. That's new. It's all new. There's now a quick note feature in the OS. It's kind of wacky.
Huh.
I don't really understand why I'd use that. The clip information window is completely redesigned and is now reconfigurable. So it's dynamic and adjusts this view to what you want to see. So they flipped the settings into a couple different tabs. So they were broken out. I think this had 3 tabs before. Now there's just 2. Maybe this is not sure what that little thing is. It might be follow actions or something like that. Here, let me just see. I want to bring it over here. Yeah, follow actions. So this view pertains to session. This tab is a session view thing. It lets you do stuff like, we never really did that, like make randomized samples in session view. There's all kinds of weird, fun, generative things you can do there. Still owe someone a true generative.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so this is kind of interesting. It's tiny little pitch knob, big gain slider. But I do like how easy it is to see these like envelopes over here. And then you can like show and hide things when you expand the view, which is kind of nice. It's interesting that, and this launch menu is just not present in that view, so that's kind of cool. I like this. Really easy to see the relevant information up here too, which I really appreciate. Like sometimes it was confusing to find that stuff and I felt like I was digging for it. You can click here, it's hyperlinked to the browser, which is awesome. Neat. So what do I want to So I just want to get this thing to like loop in like a little interesting way. I want to, so set the warp mode. Okay, so like if I can squeeze this guy a little bit over here, just gonna massage this little clip and shape. That controls. So that's that spot. I want that to hit right on it. Oh.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. Let me get that real quick.
Yeah, here, it's on my end too. I can switch it back to
Well, I can just turn it down.
my headset.
Having audio popping out my display about a good half second late. Cool, that's cool. So that loop works for me. I just like want something. What a weird sound. So I wanted to like demo real quick a new audio effect in Ableton. They actually dropped a few new things in here that I don't. What? I just surprised myself. Cool. There's an impulse response measurement for making your own impulses.
What kind of impulses?
Impulse responses. So like you play a sound. Remember we were talking about convolution reverb a while back?
Yeah.
Where you play a brief burst of noise into a room and then record the sound?
It just sounded like you bleeped yourself when you clicked the button and said impulses. Did you hear the beep? Or was that just me?
It might have just been you.
Did you hit something again? What was beeping?
Oh, I turned the test tone on.
Oh yeah, it was the test tone. Yeah,
Um,
it sounded like a bleep.
So I'm assuming this thing, I'm not sure where this thing is like, we'll have to play with this, but we could like make an impulse response to this room. It'd be really interesting. Neat. The thing I want to show you is not that. I just got really distracted by that, though. I want to plot shifter. So for those of you who are Ableton users, frequency shifter is now regular shifter because it no longer just does frequency shifting. It does pitch shifting. So this is my #1 most requested Ableton feature, aside from comping, which they did in 11. The thing that I've been whining about the most is that Ableton's all about warping and shifting the pitch of things without changing time, but you can't do it in real time. There's not been a device in live that does it until now. So let's see what it does to this thing. So shifter, we still have our regular frequency shifter options, right? Frequency shift and ring shift, but we also have pitch shifting now, which instead of like Well, let me demonstrate the difference. Frequency shift, like literally just shifts the frequencies. Pretty weird, right? It's not very musical because it's not being, those shifts aren't related to anything musical. Ring modulation is even wackier.
Whoa.
It says this modulation input is both added to and subtracted from the output. So
It's pretty cool.
wow, low frequency ring mod, kind of a neat effect. So you might want to change that over time. Hey, there's now an LFO in here. That's really... It's kind of a cool sound. So if we do that with frequency modulation instead, let's take a look at what's happening. It's interesting because you can see this like noise component of the signal isn't actually changing where it's operating very much. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It totally is. But here's why this sounds so weird. Audio, the way we hear audio is logarithmic. So like a doubling, like notes that sound like an octave up are doubled in frequency. So like, and then so like a 200 hertz note, the same note above that is 400, and the same note above that is 800. So, but what this thing is doing is shifting it by a raw number of hertz. So like everything's getting shifted up and down by 480 hertz, which is not a very big difference in the high end and is an extreme difference in the low end, right? If you shift 500 hertz down 480 hertz, that's now inaudible. Whereas if you shift 2000 hertz down to 19,500 hertz, you probably can't tell the difference. You probably they're probably both inaudible, you know. So anyway, so you can see that there's like less motion going on up top. You see that, Jay? Or like it's like there's more motion happening lower. You can see like that little one move, and you see how its movements become smaller the further up they are. I don't know how easy it is to see with this example, but anyways. So that's frequency modulation, where we're just by just a number doing simple math. Pitch modulation, on the other hand, this is the magic sauce here. So this thing is, I assume this has some like the warping algorithms is like works on some basis of granular synthesis. So like or something along those lines, where if we're pitching a sound up in real time, basically the thing has to sample the sound, play it back twice as fast, and then like grab little samples and fade those samples between each other. But then it's also got to loop those samples because those samples, if they play back fast, are going to end before the original thing ends. Right? So we can demonstrate that with the warp modes. If we take this sound and use the beats mode to pitch things up. You can hear it looping, right? You can make it loop at consistent length by like. So it decides how it wants to loop it back, and you can tweak some settings about this. There's different. You can make it. This one's actually what it's doing is it's not looping. It's playing each slice forwards and then in reverse, and then over and over again until it gets to the next thing. You can make it play just forward. It sounds even weirder. So like we could like complex mode. My goal is to pitch this thing up an octave. So here's what complex mode would sound like. Kind of metallic. Complex Pro gives you some options. But whatever, that's not real time. And I can't actually modulate these things. Like this is a set and forget thing. Or I'd have to do it on a clip by clip basis. None of this I enjoy. I'm trying to have a good time. So what I want to do is pitch it up and just see if shifter does a better job. So I'm just going to just pitch it up an octave, see what happens. Yeah, we're getting those like artifacts, right? So something we can do is adjust the window size. So it says low frequency signals sound best with long window sizes. High frequency sound best with shorter window sizes. So we just mess around with it. Let's try this. Here's the shortest possible window. So it's going to be tiny little glitchy samples probably. They're so frequent, they're almost putting out their own tone. Huh. You hear that falling sound? That's the tone. So notes are really fast rhythms, and rhythms are really slow notes. There's a strange parallel there. This is an easy thing to demonstrate. I think this is going to be this is the silliest demo I have done so far on here. So get ready, y'all. This is very silly. So I'm gonna loop this snare. Can you hear this? No. So right, that's like that one, but. There's a note. So yeah, that's like we could resample that. Here, we're doing hyperpop sound design, right? So let's resample that because this is totally crazy sounding. Cool.
How many times did it resample it there?
It looks like it looped 8 times before I managed to stop it. It's okay. It's what that actually is one long clip. The way it comes out. So.
Oh.
Or it's one audio file, each referenced by a different clip. So cool. We'll do something with that. Just out of curiosity, what note is that? I had this weird feeling it sounded like a G note. Cool. We'll use that in our tune. So yeah, if you speed up, if you play snare drum with this sample, if you have it play whatever 16th notes over and over again at 999 beats per minute, you get a note. So let's quick change that tempo back to something more reasonable. But anyways, so when we're speeding these grains up, they start. When these grains, when this time is short enough, they're repeating fast enough that it starts to produce its own phantom tone. So like boom, there's just totally bonkers effect you can get just from messing with that. You can automate this. Okay. We'll set this to like every bar, it'll do a triangle. 2 thumbs up for me. What? Okay, I'm having a really good time already. Cool. Let's, you remember we were talking about those resampling sessions that Angel taught me about? Mm-hmm. Let's resample this thing a bit. Because I think this could make like a really bizarre intro sound or something, like, just some sort of demented something. We'll solo that. We'll start recording. So I got 2 repetitions of it. Cool. I don't know if those are going to be useful for anything, but I may not get to any kind of compositional point tonight. I wanted this to kind of be like a wacky sound design time, and yeah. I'm having a great time already. So just ideas for generating noises. So like now this is a loop too. Like this could be like if I were trying to make an effort to turn this into a track tonight, which I don't think we're gonna. I might like. Like pick out. You know, like might mangle this. So okay, this is the melody of our song, I guess. So I just want to like show you other things this thing can do though. It has some really wacky stuff going on in it. Let me delete this automation, delete this LFO. Oh, interesting. That's a really large window time.
Whoa. That do something to the like. Check the left and right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's. I assume it's. It says amount of transposition applied to the input. I assume this is up in one direction and down up in one ear and down in the other, because it sounds to me like as I turn this to the right, it's going up in my right ear and down in my left.
Those are always cool effects. I love that stuff in tracks. It's like really audible shift in channels between the left and right side.
Yeah, so this is like cool. Like detuning the two sides is a really basic and useful way to create some width.
Yeah, that's cool.
I do this a lot when I'm doing sounds from scratch. You know, like. Anyways, so make that super weird and wide. The thing, this interesting feature is that you get these stepped LFOs.
Oh, I like those. Some like chiptune.
You can tempo sync this.
That's cool. Hey, there's your like Pac-Man dying noise.
Yeah, so these steps seem to like, so they're really interesting. So this is triangle 8, this one. So it has like 4 steps. I don't know, I guess I call it 8 because it's subdivided into 8 sections, which means that it has 4, but you can see here in the graph it has 4 levels. And so it seems to be evenly dividing this amount into 4 levels. But it's both up and down. So when I have this shifted up 24 steps, that means it's 2 octaves, 1 octave, normal, down an octave, and down 2 octaves. So that's this sound if it's like this rapidly jumping octaves. If I shorten this number, now it's going to do octave, tritone, normal, down a tritone, down an octave. This is going to sound way more kind of evil. So you can do other weird values, like 8 is going to be a weird one.
These are some good like video game sound effects.
So I mean, the reason it sounds reminiscent of like NES sounds is because this is how they made all those sounds. They couldn't do anything else but just like run an oscillator up and down and try and make it sound like something. You know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really neat and useful.
Could you take a whole finished track and run it through this and make it sound like that kind of 8-bit sort of style?
I don't think it would have that kind of result that you're thinking of.
Wouldn't like turn an already finished song into a.
Well, no, because it's gonna jump the entire song up and down octaves. It'll probably sound super. You want to hear what it sounds like?
Sure.
Let's find a version of a track that I made in here.
Yeah, I'm curious now if it will be turn it into a.
Where are those things? They're in the iCloud. I have bounces of the beat tape in here. Let's, oops. They really made all these system sounds pretty hi-fi too. This song called Ice King. It's really putting all my cards on the table here. So I'm gonna unwarp this thing. So
Just pass it through that thing. Oh yeah.
kind of hyperpop energy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try to demolish the whole track with this. It'd be fun. Yeah. Anyways, so like the more you're putting into the process, generally the less. What am I trying to say? This is not a subtle process, and the more you feed to it, the less subtle it is.
Okay.
That's what I go. So like, yeah, or the vice versa of that is like the more complicated a thing you get, generally the more subtle processing you want to give it. Like,
right.
So the more stuff you give an extreme effect, the more extreme the effect will be.
Okay.
Yeah. So this thing's pretty out there already.
Right.
All right. So, well, I already have like some weird stuff going on. You know, I said I wanted to keep the stream short, and we'll see if that works out. But I've made like kind of I made that weird lead sound. Let's get that going in a track. So here's a MIDI track. I'm going to drop it. This thing is going to fall into a sampler. It sounds really vowely up there.
I like that. That's cool.
I don't understand why some of them are doing that too. Do you know? That one goes like, all right. You hear like the character of each one's different?
Yeah, you can almost.
It's usually, I'm surprised that it's like that, but it's like, it must be because it's such a strange little sound.
Here's your like little characters singing or something, you know? Yep.
It really has an Animal Crossing energy about it.
Yeah.
So I want to have some more flexibility of how to use this thing, so I'm gonna see if I can get it to loop a chunk of it for me. I didn't have to do anything. And I can't hear that loop point. Because when you zoom in, it's just like the same thing over and over again. It's like it's a static sound. So it's like.
Like harmonizing with each other.
Let's get some of that. That's the little plate.
That's cool.
Dry. Wet. Yeah. So we got to tune this thing real quick. I said I was pretty sure it was playing something like a G. So I need the G to be a C. So I can turn this thing up 5, and that should work. 33 cents sharp. $0.04 flat.
It's a car in a tunnel honking its horn.
What? This is fascinating. D is flat. E is like 2.5 cents sharper for no reason that I can discern. And then F is flat again. I can't, this is baffling. But those levels of detunedness are well within the margin of error, and human beings probably can't tell. So cool, so now this is nice in tune. So what's going on with this clip? What did I do? Yeah, it's too unmusical to be used in the song, huh? Let's see if we get any sort of like, what it'll do if we do this. Woohoo. Cool. We'll go with this. Bear with me. We're gonna latch this thing to G major, fold the scale away, fold the scale away. fold. So I'm just like kind of like wiggle this guy around until there aren't any out of key notes in there anymore. Yes. That's actually pretty cool. I think that's rad. So I'm gonna let inspiration take me. Cool. I like it. That screwed up my thing, so I'm gonna quantize this to 16ths, starting in. I guess I'm getting compositional. Never would have written that. Never, ever in my life would I have come up with that. I love this. You can just let the computer write the music for you, as it turns out.
How did you do that? I think I missed that. Like, how did you get that original?
I really, here, I'll walk you back through it, dude.
Did you just like?
So this sound, it's this.
Oh, you just like had it.
So you can convert audio to Midi.
Okay.
And so I dragged this thing over here and had it do that.
That's what I thought you did.
And then, but what it spat out was this.
What does it use to create that? Is it just like the wave?
It's listening. Somehow? So if you give it like a more reasonable piece of audio,
yeah,
it's actually doing like pretty deep analysis. Here, this will probably work pretty well. So something that sounds. So sometimes it like things with overtones. Oh yeah, like this one maybe. It's a pretty wacky sound that I've chosen, so it's gonna sound a little. So with planar sources, it's easier to tell with an algorithm what the thing is.
Right.
But like the more complex the sound is, the more like the more complex the timbre is, or what like you've got weird effects on it. Anything like that, it tends to confuse it. So I wanted to confuse it a little bit, so that's why I gave it this thing, which is just like randomizing its pitch essentially.
Huh.
So then, to arrive at this place, what I did was I knew that other thing was like a G note, so I was like, well, okay, key of G. So I folded this to the key of G, but that doesn't actually change any of the notes. So right now we're seeing all these notes, and the ones that are on these uncolored lanes are notes that are out of key. So if you so you can see this one C#6 note is here out of key. If I move that note away and then I unfold and fold it away again, that C#6 lane is gone. So what I did to make all of those lanes go away is I selected all the notes, I can move them up, and then I folded it, unfolded it, and moved them up again, folded it, unfolded it, and just kind of repeated that until I saw all of those lanes disappear. So now all these notes are in key. And then I just left it wherever it was.
Okay.
Like I could be more intentional about like putting it in some key.
Right.
Like music theory moment, you guys. I'm using the G major scale, but that does not mean I am in the key of G major. Keys and scales seem a lot like they'd be the same thing, but they aren't. Oh, hey, so here's another quirk of this setup is my computer automatically goes into do not disturb mode when I'm sharing my screen over HDMI. But now that we're over the Ethernet connection, it doesn't. Like the OS doesn't know that I'm sharing.
Little thing that little dot you were talking about too. It doesn't have that, huh?
Oh, it does. There it is. That's it. That's it. In the upper right there.
I thought. Then how does it? It's not.
It's on my screen too.
But it isn't do not disturb, or it isn't.
It's just always there on the screen. The issue that I was so y'all can see in the upper right corner of my display there's an orange dot. That is on. I believe that's an indication that I forget what it is. Like something about your screen being shared, or something.
Huh.
It's a microphone. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
But like any source, like pretty much, so anytime you're monitoring, so it's like, hey, there's an app that's open that is able to monitor your microphone.
Oh, okay. So it's not even that it is actually.
It's not right now.
Right.
I mean, yeah, no, it's not even set. There's no, like, it's straight up not. It's not even set to pick up any input at all from anywhere. But because it can do that, it pops up this orange dot. So the issue is this happens in like, if I was like doing some 3D reactive visuals live and sharing and like broadcasting this on a projector,
that little dot
it would have an orange dot in the upper right of the screen. I don't know how people, like, they must crop their outputs now or something. That must be the workaround. This has been an issue for months and it hasn't been fixed. It's completely bonkers to me. Anyways, yeah, so that's why y'all saw my text message. Please.
There you go. There, I cropped it. There.
Hey, yeah, you don't need to see that stuff anyways. Yeah, dude, look at that. It's like I have a normal computer.
Clean.
Like I have a normal computer. So cool. So I like this MIDI. These two parts of the song aren't really related, so it's like not going to be really easy for me to make them related. So I wanted to demonstrate one other, at least weird sound design thing, and that is, I've been like struggling with my 808s, y'all. It's hard. It's hard out there to make a cool 808 that works. I don't know what note I want to center it on yet. But I was just messing around. I went and like crammed for this and like watched some random tutorials to get some people's ideas. I like watching, like not actually even necessarily following along, but just kind of skimming a variety of tutorials on a subject if I'm trying to get into it. I just want to like see what other people are doing. And if you've all tried to like look up Ableton tutorials online, it is just as easy to find a tutorial from someone who is an expert as it is to find a tutorial from someone who has absolutely no idea what they're doing. And there's no distinction. But you will, like even someone who doesn't know what they're doing has some interesting ideas, maybe. So I glommed onto a few of those, and I wanted to make an 808 from scratch, and I wanted to walk through my thought process. I like these settings that I had though, so I'm gonna preserve these so I can just like reference them, but I'll disable them for now. So I can do this part from scratch. So I'm going to design an 808 from scratch. So I'm gonna open a fresh instance of Wavetable. This is my preferred synth for this kind of thing. It's just very visual and very easy to use. So let's get out our Wavetable. So bass monophonic. We're gonna set up a little glide while we're here. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm gonna jack up my sustain. Well, maybe we could have a little bit. Yeah, I don't really want the sustain. I'm gonna get that attack from another source. And I'm gonna turn my release down. I don't want it to pop when it turns off though. I'm trying to get to, I'll dial up the release until it feels like it's actually turning off. Cool. So the thing to make an 808 kind of like give it its little knock knock at the beginning is you gotta modulate the pitch. So let's make that more reasonable. Drop the sustain to 0, and now this is a little So this can be laser sounds if I want, or it can just be a click at the beginning. So that's my goal. So that's the difference between this and this. So it gives us our little impulse, our little attack there. So that's going to get juiced up with some distortion stuff. I like to run things through the Moog filter. What I'm trying to avoid is this feeling of like the like, it happens more with this guy. Let me see if I can recreate the sound that I'm trying not to get. This thing. That thing. I don't want that. So that's not the Moog, but these sound really different, you know. Just love that Moog sound. So maximum drive. You could even, like, if you felt like it, like run it through probably second drive pass over here. All of a sudden I can't hear my clicky attack anymore. It's just too distorted all the way. But I can mix that in a taste maybe. Oh, it's because cool, that works. So here's what I did next. So I threw a drum bus after this, which this isn't a drums, but drum bus is so useful. Has all these controls that you might want for an 808 anyways. So I'm gonna try, like, I'm gonna make a sample. So instead of like making this a live instrument, I'm gonna resample this. So I was messing around with this thing earlier where I was having it play a C note, and I was also adding some of this boom from the. Just making it nasty. So what did I do after that? Oh yeah, I chucked it into a glue. So check my notes here. And I'm just using this for the soft clipping. I'm just trying to keep it from peaking. And I'll probably like flub a couple more devices in the end. So yeah, oh yeah. So next, pedal. So I'm adding a bunch of distortion here. This might not be that necessary since I added some extra distortion earlier. But I tried this setting. So that's what I don't want, is that whoop at the end. I like that little knock there. And that, like, I'm clipping the output of this thing. Like, you see this meter turning red here, and I'm really hitting this glue hard. I love it though. So then I threw the very last step, I believe, although I should probably flip these, was Now it's giving me that whoop thing. That's so interesting. So I'm so curious, like how this compares to my other chain. I didn't have this other band of drive going. So my old chain, let's check my work here. How did I do? I think I added more distortion from the get-go on this one. Oh yeah. It's interesting. Why is it, oh yeah. That was pretty wild. I like these kind of like dumpstery. That sounds like almost like a good kick drum though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's get some resampling going then. And we'll coordinate this track. We gotta be smart about this, so. Oh yeah, little fart there.
Is that the technical term?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, and then so cool. We got some kick drums now, made with this sound. So then we're gonna record that. It has that little whoop at the end. It still really bothers me. It wasn't doing that before either, which like it's so weird to me that like it's so funny how effects change are so dependent on what you feed them. So now this can be our 808 drum. I know I played a C note for this, so we can just drop it in here. And we'll probably just use the second. I probably should have trimmed this before I did this, but it doesn't really matter. So just waveform's looking pretty nasty. So this should just be. What happened? Why? Well. That's not what I played. That's super weird. There we go. That was very weird. Okay, well, all's well that ends well. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So if you really want your 808 to knock, I tried my best to make this knock the best I could, but I'm gonna show you a little trick, and then I'll make a snare with this trick, and then we're gonna get close to being done. So remember I was talking about like watching a bunch of random YouTube tutorials and like getting some weird ideas. I think I've demonstrated this concept before, but one of the like just big light bulb moment ideas for me in terms of how to make larger than life drums and bass is like add a transient to the beginning of this. Like that or something. Just crossfade it in there. I want a little more of it. Yeah. So I think this is the secret sauce for a lot of these like real weird 808s. So then we can consolidate those and throw those in our sampler. So now our 808 sampler. So we could even like take that back one step and turn this thing down. Consolidate that. So now our transient's louder. So that's working pretty good. You know, like you could distort this more if you felt like it. Just gotta clip it. Just gotta hit it with that glue to get. My new most requested Ableton effect is a dedicated soft clipper, but you can just use this one. So I'll put this in one-shot mode. So the nice thing about like this, the trick to doing 808s and getting the distortion right is just to distort a sausage and then get your volume fade after that. Because if you try to get to fade out and then distort that, it's going to hit the distortion differently, and then you'll get that like shifting character of the distortion that I was talking about. You know, like something like, sorry, I just keep stacking distortions, but like, you know, like if I that kind of like weird filter closing sound. I don't want that. So another option, like if I wanted more control over the exact like fade of that, I could like go here, and this guy's got like a little like fancier curve, or I could even like break it out into like a sustain and release section, you know, where I could like bring this release down even further and like crossfade that to like create like kind of, and then fade that out, you know? So here's our like attack, sustain, decay, and release, or, you know. You know, and that, so a lot of samples that you get from packs come pre-made a lot like this. So when you drop them, you know, maybe with less like dramatic differences on those things, you know. Like I turned down the body of it pretty far. So like maybe instead of down 6, you're just like down 3 or something like that. And then like here it's down 3 more. And then like, it's not additive, I have to type in 6. And then like I can fade and crossfade. And then we get that like sort of smooth, you know, like it sustains for a second before it decays. Yeah, that's nice. You know, like I'm trying to whip through this process for the stream as always, so like I could probably have taken more care to make this more perfect for our use, but one shot mode. Cool. Anyway, so that's that idea. So I wanted to, so good 808 from scratch concept. You can blaze through this even faster if you want by like finding an actual 808 kick sample and just like marrying that to some weird other kick transient. You'll get kind of a similar result, I think. But I want to like demonstrate this real quick with drums too. Just super fast. I'm hearing all these wacky snares, and I want you to make your own even wackier snares. They're so fun to do, and it's stupid easy. So the big one that I've been really enjoying is like these like cool metallic snare sounds. I hear them from like I believe Sophie started the trend, and I hear Sophie-inspired producers mimic it. It's in a ton of like, I've been hearing a bunch in Dylan Brady's music. He uses these sounds so much. Here I had some success making these from scratch the other day, and I'm going to demo that again real quick. That's a weird one. So the key is really these metallic snares, metal sound, snare sound, right? So I'll find a few, like that one's kind of weird, but probably not what we want. Oh, yes! You're gonna love that. Yeah, let's get, so I'm also hearing these ones, like a lot of times these things have these like funny, like pitched elements to them, these like snares that have like a tone. And I find them really interesting. There's a popular one, I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase the Skrillex Snare, but that's how you make that as well. Yeah. So I'll show you how to do those. So now I've just picked out like a few, actually that's gonna get us really close to that sound. So I picked out a few kind of random metallic hits, and now we're just gonna find snares and just stick the snare transient in front of them. That's not a snare, that's a synth. That one's already got this going on. They stuck a little metal sample at the end of that. It's a clap and a snare with a little metal hit at the end. But here's like a dry snare. So I'm literally gonna zoom in here and crossfade them. So it's like chwat, you know? I want chwat. So I can like squeeze these a little closer together. Gotta make sure they're touching to crossfade them. Done, you know? Like, I can mess with the pitch of that if I want. That doesn't work. So if I want to, I can scoot it even closer. I could probably squeeze a little higher pitch out of that thing. Anyways, yeah, so that's the concept. I really like this one. These have a ton of this energy about them already. Right? So I'm trying to find these kind of like drier simples. Tons of these have a heck of character like this. I'm looking for something really dry. So let's just get out of this folder. This folder is bumming me out. Drum one-shots, vintage drum samples, 24-bit. Let's just go and get some raw drum sounds. What vintage drum machine should we get at? This has got a Lindrum snare. Classic Lindrum. I love it. It's so easy. Let's find like a brighter one for that one, maybe like a 808 snare. Like a nice pitched up one. And then same tactic, just fade it. So that feels a little crazy. I think it's because that sound is so wide that it feels weird. You can go, whoop. Something about that feels funny to me. I thought that one would work better. This is gonna be an interesting one, I think. Like, I almost want to like have these be further apart. Give this like kind of flamming sound. I'm gonna quick do an audio effect on this where utility can pass just the left channel. I like that better for some reason than, or maybe let's just mono it instead of just passing the left. So because like that stuff on the right is weird, but I want mono. So like I think harmonically about this a bit. So. Now they're related. When they're harmonically related, it's cooler. That's a great sample now. Kind of, sort of like the... I'm thinking this reminds me a bit of the snare from Claws by Charlie XCX. Go listen to that one. That's a Dylan Brady joint. So that, yeah, turn the perk down a little. You know, if I was gonna go then like really process these for preparation for something, I'd probably do like some like, might throw a drum bus on there or something like that, get some like that quick, easy compression and drive. Before, after. Easy thing to do. Ha! Okay, that's the Claws snare. That's super close to that snare. That's the closest I've ever gotten. So we're gonna resample that. Probably have a resampling track pulled up already, but. It doesn't really look like a snare anymore, but there it is. That's a great snare. I'm super happy. So like, I made kicks and snares. Let's put them together into something. Where are my kicks? Put some kicks up here. Something was going wrong with my resampling for a little while. I wonder if this is a glitch. Either a result of my low buffer size, maybe. So I'm just going to record the output of this again. There we go. That's what it sounded like when I heard it before. Cool. One of those will be fine. Huh. Oh. Oh no, I was like, oh, do we have ring mod on it? It sounds like it's ring modulated, but no, we don't. I wish I had an explanation for this. Let's see if changing my buffer size to something more normal helps. There we go. Yeah, it must have been a glitch with a low buffer or something. Weird. It was coming and going, but I prefer it going. Let's get out a drum rack, and we can chuck this. Will be our kick. Is that the good one though? I have this screen zoomed in so far for y'all. It's pretty hard for me to navigate sometimes. Especially with these big sound design projects where there's just a bunch of stuff in there. Why not? Then my favorite snare. Come on down to the drum machine. And just because I took the time to make them, let's consolidate these ones and bring them down there as well. Oh, we have to resample this one because it's stereo. Yes. Oh, that got even more fun with a lot of distortion. So I'll chuck a couple of these guys in here, and now I've got a drum kit. I don't have any hi-hats. I never got around to designing myself some hi-hats. Let's turn one of these sounds into a hi-hat. Where do we have? Do we have an audio sample? Oh yeah, we have the recording of all the short snares somewhere. We'll use those. Just grab a little snippet of it. Oh my God, this navigation. Grab you, you're gonna come with me, you're coming onto there we go. This is my hi-hat. Almost sounds like a hi-hat, right? Cool. So great, I'm gonna make a little drum pattern and then program a bass line, and then we're gonna get the heck out of here. Cool. I even forgot what this loop was. So I'm just gonna go for it, y'all. I don't know which one I want to be the main snare. That snare's not hitting loud enough. I'm just gonna distort the crap out of it again. Huh. Where'd you go? What? Weird. Weird. I found a bug. Fun. All right, we're gonna add good bass line going in here. Where did I put those? I don't know what notes I have in this clip. I randomized it pretty much, so we're gonna fold these. Well, that actually sounded surprisingly good. Just had the bass play that part straight up. Oh my gosh. Navigating this thing is really challenging.
They change it enough towards the pain in the butt.
It's just like, yeah, all my muscle memory for it's gone, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know.
It sucks.
The usual, it's okay. So, I would just... So it's like I feel like it's not like sounding very good to me right now. And I feel like there's like a real imbalance in the frequencies here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna not get too precious here, but I'm gonna high pass this thing a bit. Shelve out some of those lows. So like a key to making this feel good is like having the bass and the kick be somewhat related. So like they're not here, and that's what. And also these notes are crazy low. So you were curious what it would sound like to put that shifter on the whole track?
Whoa. That was sweet.
That's what that sounds like.
That was pretty sweet.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's like, if you make it rhythmic, you can do really whatever. It's fun.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I didn't plan on finishing a track, and I certainly did not, but this is a kind of a cool sketch. And I'm pretty pleased with the fact that this is all made from scratch.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cool. All the little bloops and whoops and weird stuff. Trying to inch my way closer and closer to these kinds of sounds. I just love this so much. Beautiful texture. So yeah, bringing some weird vibes. Like all these weird textures here. It's rapid manipulation of pitch, like really fast manipulation of pitch to get those bubbly things. Like that's what it's all about. So kind of gesturing at that a little bit here, like making things move around and leap and do a lot of stuff. So oh yeah, we made an intro to this thing. Feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah.
I think we should call it. This has been fun. Thanks for watching me explore and find the weird bugs in my system. Also, let's just check back in with 32 samples buffer size here. Pretty incredible low CPU usage. I'm blown away. My fans are not spinning. I'm a happy camper.
It's awesome.
Anyways, cool. Hyperpop sound design. There's all sorts of cool, weird stuff going on right now, but the main tools, pitch shifting, like just pitch that stuff up. Like take your audio loop, pitch it up, pitch it all around. And then layering and blending of two samples and resampling those things to create something new. Piling on the distortion and not being afraid to push into a soft clipper. The hot tip that I saw before was like, actually you can do that on your master bus as well. So you can just like turn everything up and push it into that. Sounds pretty good. Anyways, soft clipping, that's the other tip. And that's all I have to say to you. I'm ready to go home. I'm sure Jay is too. So we're going to skedoodle on out of here. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. And hope you found some of these ideas interesting. If you want to hear more of this kind of stuff, you let us know. You know where to find us.
Cool. All right.
See you later.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
I'm like, peace out, y'all. Peace. See you next time.